So I just got back from dropping my daughter off daycare. Honestly, don't ask me how I'm managing it. Being a stay-at-home mom, an entrepreneur, a wife, everything in between. Honestly, it's not an easy thing to do. But one thing I know is that this thing about being a mom, there's no manual to it. So we wing it as we wing it. There are days you make plans, but these plans do not really fall in line. So what do? Welcome to my channel. This is Uche here, and if you've been wondering where you can get inspiration on how you want to deal with motherhood, entrepreneurship and everything in between, here's the channel to come to. I film everything motherhood, entrepreneurship and lifestyle and everything else in between. Thank you for joining me. Please do well to click the subscribe button and like this video if it makes sense to you. So today I'll be sharing some tips on how I am able to manage my time as a stay-at-home mom while doing entrepreneurship at the side. So I was working while I was making that video. All right, I'm settled now. So one of the things I do is, one, I work with priority lists. In these lists, I have what I call my priority, what are my opportunity costs, what are the things I can do when my children are awake effectively, and what are the things that I cannot do effectively if they are awake. So if there are things that I know I can do effectively, regardless of if they are awake or not, I kind of put those things, I do them around the time they're awake and when they're around the house or when they're with me. Then if there are things that I know that if I should do this thing, if I say I want to do this thing when these children are awake, I eventually would not do it. I will just let it go. Like, I will not do it that day and I will achieve that thing. I try as much as I can to do those things when they are asleep. You know those little nap times they have? Yes, I silently do those things when they are asleep, especially when it comes to attending to my customers or doing rendering my services to my customers. Because of the kind of business I do, I try to do those things when they are sleeping, whether it's at night time or in the daytime. Another thing I do is I try so much to rest, because as a mom, you know that we are literally on our feet 24 hours 7. Like, the moment your eyes open and your feet touches the ground, like this, you have started work until you intentionally go back and say, okay, I just want to sit down, or I just want to lie down and rest. Like, you literally are just like a walking machine 24/7, even at night, especially if you are a new mom like I am right now. You can see I'm filming this video with my baby. So if you're a new mom like I am right now, you literally would see that you are always on your feet, both in the night, both in the morning, in the afternoon. There is no time that has been curated for you to rest. So you really need to be intentional about resting. Resting must not necessarily mean sleep. There are times I'm resting, but I'm not sleeping. Like, I'm just away from my phone, or maybe I'm just scrolling through chatting with a friend, and I'm just like sitting down and not thinking of anything at that point. It's really very hard to come by. Those times are really very hard to come by, especially if you're just a new mom, or you have a toddler who is always on you, or you have a really clingy baby. You see that those times are really hard to come by. But the little that you can, please try to rest. For me, if I don't rest, I find out that I am really very cranky, and when I'm cranky, I am irritated. I don't give my best. I'm not my best self. So I try as much as I can to rest. Another thing I do again is that I try to plan. If you're a mom like me, you understand that, yes, we make our plans, right? But these kids, our children, our spouses are literally our bosses, our employers. Yes. So if you don't plan, sometimes you just have to make a plan, even though you know that, okay, this plan, somehow you may achieve those things, you may not, but just make a plan. I try to do this and it has been helping me. I just draw up a list of things I want to achieve for the day. And I also give myself grace if those things I am trying to achieve, I end up not achieving them, but at least I achieve something, right? So by just draw up a plan, the next day I continue from where I stopped the previous day. If I do my checks and balances and see that okay, I can still continue from where I stopped the previous day, but I just draw up a list, because I found out that I'm more productive when I draw up this list. Like when I sit down maybe in the beginning of the day or at the end of the previous day and draw up this list, it makes me not to overthink things. Sometimes, if you would agree with me as a mom, you see that the moment you give birth, you tend to forget a lot. Even when you're pregnant, you tend to forget a lot. So sometimes I might just be sitting at a place or standing at a place, thinking and gazing into the thin air, asking myself, okay, what did I say I was going to do now? Like, what am I supposed to be doing now? There's something I said I want to do. Why did I come to this room? So in order to avoid that, a lot of times I just try to drop a list so that when I start to see that I'm gazing into thin air or thinking thinking of something that I know I forgot, I just go to that list and say, okay, let me just pick up a task here and just start doing. By the time I'm done with that particular task, I see that I remember what I was supposed to be doing at that point in time. So when I'm done with that particular task, I now go ahead to the next task. These things have made me a lot more productive. Another thing I do is that I always love to batch cook. I see that it saves me a lot of time. It even saves me cost. It really saves me the energy of every day I'm thinking of what to cook or what not to cook. Yeah, some people will draw up timetable. I've tried drawing up timetables, but sincerely speaking, timetables don't always work for me. I don't know about you. Does timetable work for you? If it works for you, please let me hear it in the comment section. What works for you? You know, children can just wake up one morning. Like my daughter can just wake up one morning and it's like, Mommy, I'm hungry. I want to eat food. And you're like, okay, I'll give you food. You want to give her something for breakfast. And then when you finish preparing that breakfast, she's like, I don't want to eat this. Or she wants to eat it, or she doesn't really eat it the way you want her to eat it. And you're like, oh my God, what did you do right now? Like, you're just literally confused on what to do. What about dinner? The next thing you're thinking about lunch, you're thinking about dinner. Depending on how many times you eat in your home, I always love to batch cook. It saves me a lot of stress, especially for my soups, because I'm Nigerian, and my stews. I always love to batch cook those ones and put them in the freezer. For the rice, like jollof rice, white rice, and all those things, there are sometimes I would batch cook maybe what would eat in a week or maybe in 3 days and cook it and put in the refrigerator. So I always do all these things. And when I go to the grocery shops for grocery shopping, I love to buy things in bulk. It saves me a lot of time. From every time I'm thinking of, oh, I need Maggi, let me run to the shop. I need this one, let me run to the shop. So it saves me a lot of stress and a lot of time, and it has been helping me a lot.
Oh, we are back. So this is like hours after I shot those videos, but let's just finish this, right? So amongst everything I've said, and I've shared some tips here and there. Of course, these are my own experiences that I'm sharing with you. So I would like to hear from you, dear mom. What are your experiences while you're trying to maximize time, be more productive as a mother, as a parent? Let me know what tips you use. Me, I want to learn. No, nobody is an island. This is a family. I love to read from you. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share. Don't forget to like this video so that it can be recommended to people who need it. And also don't forget to share with your friends who you feel would want to learn a thing or two from here. Amongst every tip I have shared, as you know, this is a channel that talks about how you can navigate motherhood and entrepreneurship and everything in between. I have learned that in everything, okay, I don't flog myself if I don't eventually achieve the things I wrote down in my priority list, like I've mentioned earlier. If I don't eventually achieve those things, I don't flog myself. I let myself know that once there is life, there is hope. And definitely, I would always have the opportunity to achieve those set plans and goals, and even better ones self than what I've set before. So let me know in the comment section, like I said, what do you think are your tips, or what are your tips? What's your experience like trying to be more productive as a parent. Okay, thank you so much. We'll definitely bring this topic up some other time, but I just felt that I should share it here and now. See you in my next video. Bye for now.